I just finished reading Intimate Apparel. I thought it was a very intriguing story. What I first noticed about the play was that it was really going to represent women's role in the 19th century and the difficult circumstances that they went through and oppression that faced them. What I really thought was interesting about the play as well was that Esther and George didn't write the letters to each other. They were having somebody else write the letters for them. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, Overall, I think the story really represented the role that women had in the 19th century by Esther being a seamstress, and she loved it, but she didn't have the same job opportunity as maybe other women had or men. Two values that I feel were being represented in this play were helplessness and respect. I felt that helplessness was being represented when Esther in scene 5 touched somebody and she really wasn't supposed to, and I think this really affected her throughout the whole entire play by not really being able to get in a steady relationship with George at first. And then I think respect was being represented when Esther was respectful of her friends, even though um, they didn't really have some good things to say sometimes. She still stayed positive. Something that I really didn't understand was on page 39 when Esther states, "He ain't much of nothing. He just stood there for a moment, regarded me with his eyes, yellow cotton and cane eyes. I didn't have no tongue." So when really first reading this, I didn't really understand what Esther meant by not having a tongue, because another time in the book she was referring to a man getting his tongue chopped off by a chicken. So I didn't know if she was being literal or analytical, but later looking into this, I realized that she was just so awed by how George was so handsome and didn't really know what to say. So I think this play just reinforces the African American experience of what they went through in the 19th century. That overall, even though the circumstances that they faced were hard, they still worked towards doing whatever they could to do what they wanted, even though it was very difficult. And I really think this was represented through Esther being a seamstress. Even though it wasn't the best job opportunity for her, she enjoyed it and she was good at it. So for question number 5, I do think stereotypes still exist today. Um, just because they're influenced really by the lack of knowledge people have and how ignorant people can be sometimes. So I think this was really represented by Esther and how hard that she worked to get towards maybe the goal that she had, but really she didn't have the same opportunity as everybody else did. Just like really in today's world, how African Americans may be represented as maybe more violent than other races, and this really is a stereotype that's not true. It was just overblown by somebody who really didn't have the proper knowledge. So, two questions that I have for you guys was if Esther and George actually wrote the letters to each other, would the play have been impacted differently? And then if Lynn Nottage would have wrote the story of the 20th century time period, how would have society portrayed this? Thank you.